sorry I've not made a video in a good while. I've not even made any of my YouTube videos. I've literally been so behind on all my videos, and yeah, so sorry about those hairs. It's really itchy. Using cheap stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to basically talk about Louis. Sorry if I say his name wrong. I can't say his surname. 𝓨𝓬𝓬𝓱 show inside the Manosphere. So yeah, this show recently come out on Netflix. I think it was 11th March, and I think I caught it about 2 weeks ago. I managed to watch it, or about a week ago. I'm just trying to remember. Sorry, I'm so late making this video. So everyone's already put their reviews up of what they thought of the show, and I just wanted to basically talk about my opinions. And I haven't really made a video like this in a while, actually, talking about my opinions. I usually just do so many reaction videos, or videos of my cats. That was so bad. So yeah, I just wanted to basically talk about the show. It took some people I've heard just refused to watch it because their blood would just boil the whole time while watching it, which I understand. And for me, like, I'm not much of a modern day feminist. I am more like this, like, I just stand up for, like, men should have equal rights to women. Mine's just yeah, I just believe in equality, really. That's all I believe in. So I'm not really too much with the whole modern day feminist movement. But at the same time, I don't agree with men treating women like trash and women treating men like trash. I don't agree with either way. I think we're everyone's human. No one's better than anyone. We're all like, we're all struggling. We're all trying to sorry, just seeing what my cats are. We're all trying to, we all struggle in this world. We all got our own, like, stuff going on, so no one's better than anyone. So, like, I'm not even much of a modern day feminist, but when I was watching this show, even my blood was boiling as well. And I'm not even like much of a, like I was saying, I'm just not really much of a modern day feminist myself. But even I found the show a bit too much, like, hearing the men that were on the show, their opinions, because it's basically just about some of them male streamers, and I think some of them, like, I think just have, like, other businesses and stuff. I think it's something like that. And then Louis, like, was just asking actually really good questions as well. Each of them got some really good like, he was asking the right questions as well. And I love the way he put he interviewed them and put the documentary together as well. So, like, yeah, a lot of respect for Louis as well. I think he was just excellent. And yeah, so who should I start with? It's quite interesting. So yeah, all this is all started from Andrew Tate anyway. Andrew Tate kind of started this whole red pill gang thing with, like, with whichever male wants to follow him. Not all men follow him anyway. And with Andrew Tate, like, I remember him, like, coming out many years ago, and he had that they made that song that was in French, his theme song, which was quite which I remember just being like, the songs were so catchy at the time, I remember. But with Andrew Tate, he was very much like, he had some, like, very, like, old-fashioned opinions on how women should be treated and stuff like that. Like, I didn't mind the guy. I was like, at least he's speaking up. Like, at least he has his own opinion, while in today's world not many people do. But at the same time, the stuff he's, like, been arrested for and everything, I don't agree with. I think he kind of had, like, sadly, it's gone too far. But yeah, I remember Andrew Tate, but I think some of these men that are sort of following his ways turned out even worse than him. And it's just absolutely shocking. And yeah, so who should I start with? So yeah, I'll start with the one who isn't as bad as the others, but of course, I don't really agree with his ways with women as well. So yeah, I'll start with him. So I think the first one was Justin, who was the American guy on the show, and he came from a poor background and built his way up and got rich. And like, I'd say he was most okay one out of all of them. At least he was well spoken and respectful to Louis. So I actually like think he was pretty respectful when he spoke to anyone. Really, he was pretty respectful, and you never saw him actually like be whole to anyone on the show, or unless he was just very good at hiding who he really is. I don't know, but he did make his opinions like very clear. So he basically was saying that his wife shouldn't he can basically his wife, he's married and his wife's had already had kids, his children, but she can't get with who she wants, she can't hook up with who she wants, and then he can like sleep with which however like as many women as he wants. So so yeah, I just found that a bit like that's when I was like, oh no, yeah, he's a bit he's a little bit, yeah, that's I don't really, that's just too much. So I just don't think that's just right if it's only one way. Like I have no problem with open relationships if like both sides are just like okay with just having other like dating other people at the side. That's fine if it's like, you know, if they both agree with it. I have no problem with open relationships, but I just don't really agree with how his wife was allowed to, but then he can do what he wants. And the thing is, you don't even know where he's been, and then she's getting pregnant with his babies as well. So it's just like, you know, I know it sounds horrible what I'm saying, but like I didn't really agree with that. And then when Louis interviewed the wife, and she was like, "Oh, I'm fine with him sleeping with these women," like hinting that, oh, he's always gonna like, you know, come back to me at the end of it all anyway. But like you can see the pain in her eyes as well, and yeah, so like you could really see the pain in her eyes, but at the same time she was like, she basically admitted that she doesn't want to go back to being a nurse again. I think her job was being a nurse before she met Justin. So she was basically saying she doesn't want that like 9 to 5, well, nurses work like 12 hours, don't they, maybe even more. So she doesn't want to like go back to that life again of having a day job. But that's why she's okay with this. But I'm like, if you do want a rich guy, there's other rich guys out there that, you know, aren't gonna have this sort of agreement with you. Like, you ain't gonna cheat on you like this. But I just, yeah, so her reason was for that. I mean, her reason was that, and I was just thinking to myself, you've just set us women back like at least 50 years by basically saying that you just don't want a day job, you just want this man to just pay for you, and you don't care if he like cheats on you. It's just like, you know, I just don't agree with that. And I already have my opinion on women who are gold diggers, who just get with men, particular men, because they just want the money. Like I understand like people don't want to go back to like, you know, working a day job, they don't want to go back to the life they had before. I get that, but yeah, I do have my opinions on gold diggers. I just think to myself, why don't you, you know, you're just putting us women many years back. You really are. You're going back to like the 1940s housewife days. I just don't. Actually, I think that was more than 50 years ago. 1940s, I think. But yeah, my maths is terrible. But yeah, she just set us women back by saying that, and it was just very annoying to watch her like say that as well. Some women might agree with her, but I just didn't really agree with her having that opinion. It did annoy me, and you know. And then like Justin has his like opinions, which makes him like, you know, just seem a bit like, you know, a little bit of an arsehole, where he said that women don't contribute anything to society, and women shouldn't be in construction and stuff like that. And it's just not fair when like there's so many women out there who are doctors, surgeons, and are also in construction as well, who do literally, you know, what he's done in the past, because I think he was part of like a construction business or something. I can't remember what his business was, but I think he still is, I don't know. But like, you know, there's women out there that just do the same as what men do as well, and it's just really sad just to hear him say that women contribute nothing to society. It's just really sad, and you know, I just don't know who's drilled that into him. But yeah, so I think out of all of them, he was the least bad one, but still his opinions and the way like he has that relationship with his wife. And I just think like those daughters, when they grow up, they're going to be questioning things, and it's going to be mess their heads up just to find out that this is the sort of relationship their parents have. And you know, and it will eventually create some awkward tension between the husband and wife eventually one day. But But of course, I don't know. How do I know? You never know. The daughters might be okay with it in the future. Don't know. Don't know really. But yeah, I just thought Justin was like, yeah, probably the okay sort of one. But yeah, some of his opinions I just didn't really, yeah, I didn't really agree with. But yeah, oh God. Sorry, haven't even breathed in between. I did forgot to take a deep breath before this. But yeah, so and also 𝓤𝓐𝓏 was on Louis' documentary as well, and I just remember and 𝓤𝓐𝓏 I just remember from like years ago, he had this like bit of like a FaceTime sort of chat with this YouTuber. His name's Charlie, but I think his YouTube channel name is something else. But you know, I do like Charlie's content. Like so like me and Luke used to watch Charlie's like we used to watch like Charlie's content, so that's how we ended up watching this like video with him and 𝓤𝓐𝓏. And Charlie was just confronting 𝓤𝓐𝓏 about his like his sort of opinions as well. Like I think he's a bit like he doesn't treat women well too, or he like I think he has like some, they don't really show much of him, but he like kind of has his opinions on what he thinks of women as well. But like yeah, I just remember like watching 𝓤𝓐𝓏 many years ago, and then he basically said to Charlie that that like this particular, I don't want to say the name of the film, but there was this particular film that came out many years ago. It was a French film, and it got in a lot of trouble because like yeah, because what they were making kids do in that film, which was completely wrong, and a lot of parents were like absolutely fuming with that film, and everyone was fuming at that time at the film. I don't want to say the film's name just in case, but 𝓤𝓐𝓏 basically many years ago said in that video, I don't know if his opinions have changed since then, that video was like a good few years ago, but 𝓤𝓐𝓏 many years ago said in that video that that film was a good film, and you know, that's what like really put me off him. So ever since then I've not really liked 𝓤𝓐𝓏. Him saying that about that film, which look, you know, I made a lot of parents angry as well at the time. So yeah, I've not really been a fan of 𝓤𝓐𝓏, and he was only in the documentary a little bit anyway. So, but then 𝓤𝓐𝓏 compared to some of the other men in the documentary was like, that was nothing. Oh my God. Well, him saying about that film, of course, that's like out there, but you know, the way he was in the documentary compared to the other men, he was actually pretty like okay compared to the other guys on the documentary. So yeah, basically the documentary was just about like, you know, men who like want to take toxic masculinity to the next level. So that's what all these men in the documentary stand for. So that's what, you know, that's what was getting investigated into in the documentary. But whoever's watched it obviously knows what it's about. But yeah, so next person I just couldn't stand. This is when it started to get worse, and I was like, yeah. It like just got me like, just really got me thinking. Another person on the documentary was Myron, I think his name was. Sorry if I'm saying his name wrong. I just think, yeah, complete horrible person. The way he told basically one of his female staff that worked for him, and when Louis was trying to find out where they get the girls from on the on his radio like podcast sort of thing, where like Louis was trying to ask one of his other staff members of where the females come from that come on the radio show, and in the middle of him asking, Myron finds out, and then he like texts the girl to like not answer any questions, and then she's like has to say sorry to Louis. She's like, I'm so sorry, I can't answer that. So like it's just like, you know, it just looks really sussy, like you've got something to hide. Like, where are these girls actually coming from? Like, if you actually didn't do that, you wouldn't look so suspicious, but he did look really suspicious when he like texted the girl like to stop speaking. So yeah, that was really, really unfair. Oh, sorry. So yeah, sorry, I just had to have a drink of water then. I was getting out of breath. I don't know if I talked it. I think I talked too fast, so yeah, that's why. Yeah, so like, yeah, with Myron, when that happened, I was like, he's got something to hide. That just looks really suspicious. Like, why would you need to do that? And then the girls that he invites onto the radio station, they're obviously exaggerating that they're not that smart. Like, it's obvious. They were getting asked like name 3 countries, and they couldn't name 3 countries. The girls that are on his podcast, so it's obvious. It's obvious these girls are just like putting on an act of pretending to be like, you know, dumb. It's obvious it's an act. It's just all for like, you know, just all for just so they can get like a few views as well. And yeah, so yeah, that's all it is. It's just so they can get like a few clicks as well. So it's like, yeah, it's quite smart. They just put on the act that they're like that they're that they don't know anything. But yeah, because, and then it's just like, but the only problem is with these women doing this, it just makes people like Myron go, see, women are stupid. They need us men. And oh, it's just like, yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for, you know, just dumbing yourself down. So, you know, like men like him who are proper, you know, sexist pigs will just, you know, will just be like, yeah, women are stupid. Look, it proves that point even more. It's like, no, you're just purposely inviting like dumb women, or women that exaggerating that they're dumb, because no one's that dumb. You're just purposely inviting these women that pretend to be stupid onto your show just so you can be like, see, and see how stupid they are and all that. And it's like, funny, you never seem to invite, funny you're not inviting like women on your show who actually have a brain, who, you know, because it's, of course, someone like mine will be scared of that, because he knows like, if he had like a bit of a disagreement with them, they'd just literally win the argument with him or win the disagreement with him. Like, he knows what's coming, so of course he's got to like invite women who just don't mind looking dumb. So yeah, it was just got very, that was just really hard to watch. I just don't know why, like, you know, these women are just letting these men just get away with being like this and get away with treating women like trash, because these women are just like sucking up to them and telling them that it's fine what they're doing, it's okay, you can treat women like that. So, you know, these men on the show are just easily doing it, so that these women aren't helping the cause too. But yeah, and then also Louis interviewed Myron's girlfriend at the time. Like, now they've, like, I've heard they've split up anyway, but his girlfriend at the time, he interviews her, but just before the interview, Myron says to Louis that he'd like to have loads of wives, and then Louis asks his partner, his girlfriend, oh, are you okay with him, or his wife? I don't know if she's his wife. She was his wife at the time. So Louis basically asks her, oh, are you okay with him having so many wives? And then she's just sort of like, and she's like a bit shocked by the question, and she's like, I don't know, because before that she's saying that, oh, it's okay, I don't mind, you know, him being like, him being the way he is. She, like, I think she was basically just hinting she doesn't mind it, like she's okay with it. And then when he asked that, she was just like, oh, I don't really know about the wives, I'm not sure, see when it happens. And then it's just so sad, you can see the pain in her eyes as well, of like, she's not fully okay with this. Like, at the end of the day, like, you're in a relationship, when you're in a relationship with someone, you want that man to fully love you. You don't want to, like, you know, just feel like you got to fight for that man's affection. You don't want to feel like that. And, you know, that's why it's just so sad seeing the pain in her eyes. And she probably knows he didn't love her, it was just all about him. And next thing, and then Myron next minute is just like, I think he asks the girl that, doesn't he, Louis, that, oh, are you okay with him having so many wives? I swear that's the question he asked. And she's like, oh, I'm not really sure, see what happens. I think it was that. Sorry about that, I watched it a while back, but I think it was. But yeah, and the next thing it's just like, and then Louis asks Myron, like, mentions it to Myron, and then like he's like, oh, he goes back on his word and says, oh, it's so, you know, he like goes back on his word, and he says, oh, actually, more than one woman's hard work enough, two will be effort. And it's like he's saying something completely different now because the girlfriend's right there. Maybe he knew at this point the girlfriend wanted to split up with him anyway, so I think that's why he didn't. That's why I think like he kind of said that, because he probably was worried she was going to leave him. But yeah, so he just like, and then next thing he hands the girlfriend or the wife the dog and says they're like their cute dog, and says, go in there, I mean like go away from here, like he's got something to hide here as well. And he's like, go clean a room, and it's like, oh my god, are we back in the old days, like telling women to go clean the bedroom? It's just like, go clean that room. It's like, oh my god, you know, you push this woman away even more by treating her like this. Like, oh my god, I know she was okay with it, but you took the piss and went too far, so no wonder she left you. And I'm like, and then looking at him, like, she can do better than him anyway. She's a better person. She's a nicer person. Like, she could do way better than him. He was a horrible piece of work. I couldn't stand him. He was one of the worst on the show. Yeah, I actually couldn't stand Myron. I was like, twice you are telling people to like back off, so like nothing gets revealed about you and makes me questioning more what you up to. So, you know, he just really annoyed me as well, and it was just so hard to watch. I was like, oh god, no. You know, no woman in the world deserves that. It's just really sad. But yeah, and so, yeah. On to my final one. The worst, I'd say I don't know if he's the worst out of all of them, or him and Myron are the worst, but on my next one is Havison, who, like, you know, is a streamer on Kick, and he just didn't, he did not make any sense. Like, a guy in his 20s, like, he's in his 20s, like, how is he this sexist? I don't understand. Like, today's time, I thought, you know, like, it was calming down a little, the whole, the whole, like, being sexist to women. I thought, like, today's time is calming down, but it's just shocking to see someone in his 20s just be that sexist. And it's just so, like, yeah, I think he really, like, I can't believe him. So where should I start with him? I'm trying to think. So yeah, so the way I'll start with, so the way he spoke to Bonnie Blue, like on the documentary, they didn't really show much of it. They just showed Bonnie Blue walking away. Like, for me, I don't really agree with what Bonnie Blue does, but you know, she's happy, and that's making her, if that's making her money and she's happy, she's making money that way, that's up to her. At the end of the day, no one should be horrible to her about it. But the way Harrison spoke to her, like, me and Luke watched the full interview on I think it was on YouTube. We watched the interview. We were curious of like what he must have asked her, because on Louis' documentary it just showed Bonnie Blue just walking away and just, like, you know, had enough of him, which I can't blame her. But watching that, the way he spoke to her in that interview, he's like, you're disgusting, oh, your parents should be ashamed of you, what you do, and all this. And it's like, you know, he's just a puppet for his Kick chat. His Kick chat are there telling him what to say, like, and then he says, I ain't no puppet, I'm my own person. But then your own chat are the ones that tell you what to say. So you obviously, like, you know, you ain't your own person. You clearly are lost. He's like a lost little boy. So the way he spoke to her, and it was just disgusting, and he kept talking over her. She actually had some good points back. Like, she didn't need the help of her chat to answer him back, and she, like, you know, she actually was bringing up very good points. Like, you know, I don't fully agree with what she does, but she knew how to defend herself. Like, she was actually bringing up very good points. And then with him, he just kept disrespecting her. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and I actually felt so sorry for her. I was just like, you know, I'm shocked she didn't walk away any earlier. Like, she actually had patience for him. And he just, like, yeah, just kept saying to her, your parents should be ashamed. And she's like, my parents love me, my parents aren't ashamed. And he's like, they should be, and all that. And I'm just like, that is just, that's a really bad, because guarantee if Bonnie Blue was a male, like, you wouldn't even care what she does. But because she's a woman, your thinking's old-fashioned. You're just saying you basically can't do this because you're a woman. So, like, it was just so horrible to just, like, watch the whole time, and she just kept calling it disgusting when he can't even talk himself, when he probably sleeps with so many women as well, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He was just so horrible to her the whole time, and it's obviously does. He, like, bags about it. And, you know, he actually had patience for him. He yeah, and the way he's bragging about it was just kind of gross. Remind me of the guys on Geordie Shore back in the day when, in the early 2010s, the way they would brag about like sleeping with so many women, and the way like he's just like saying that to her, but he's a big hypocrite himself when he does the same anyway. He does the exact same. Like, he literally does. Like, I know he doesn't sleep with 1,000 women at once, of course, like Barney Blue does, but you know, he's doing similar things anyway. It makes no difference. There's no difference between what he's doing compared to her. So why is he calling her disgusting when he does the exact same? And you know, that's her. If that's making, like I said, if that's making her money, she's happy with that. No one's forcing her to do it. Then that's fine. Let her carry on. Like, why are you just being so nasty to her? Like, let her speak. You keep talking over her. That's just really rude anyway. And you're just like, you're just being so, whatever your chat is saying, you're just saying to her. And he was just so nasty to her the whole time. I was just like, oh my god, like, he could literally put anyone in tears. He was horrible, like, the whole time to her. And good job she walked away. Good for her. And funny enough, he hangs out with OnlyFans models, but then he looks down on Bonnie Blue, and it's like, you hang out with OnlyFans models. And even Louis questioned one of the OnlyFans models he was hanging out with on that. I think she was a plasterer. But she does OnlyFans at the same time. And Louis even questioned her because she hangs out with Harrison, and she says Harrison's really nice. That's why I hang out with him. Then Louis was like, you do realise that he looks down on what you do with OnlyFans? He looks down on OnlyFans models. And she's like, yeah, but I don't care like what he thinks. I don't care what he thinks. And I'm like, then why are you hanging? Then that's fine, but then you're friends with him, like, you know, you're calling him your friend, but it's obvious they just hang out with Harrison because he's a big streamer, and they're getting a bit of like, you know, they're getting a bit of views on their channels too, which I get. At the end of the day, you're a streamer, you're a content creator, you want to hang out with the big people, and you know, make some money as well. So like, you know, of course it's all business anyway, so I get that. But at the same time, if I was an OnlyFans model, and no one wants to see that, of course, but if I was an OnlyFans model and someone was looking down on me for doing that, I wouldn't hang out with them. I wouldn't even talk to them. I was just like, you know, I'll avoid them. So I'm just shocked these girls just still hang out with him. It's just shocking to me, but it's their choice, of course, their life. It's all business, I'm guessing. So yeah, it was just like really, just really hard to watch. And then one of the worst things that really just made, oh my god, this actually could have made Harrison the worst person on the show out of all of them. And basically he was streaming himself like beating up these men and saying these men are perverts with their Harrison was saying that we pretend to be young girls, and then when we meet up with the men we batter them because they're perverts for meeting up with young girls. And then he's even said that he beat up PDF files as well. Of course I can't say that word on here. Oh, hi CL. So we even beat up PDF files, but what like evidence do you have that the people were PDF files? Like, what evidence do you have of this? So he like streams himself with this big security guard battering these people. The next thing he Louis was watching his stream, and Louis was like, this is just wrong. So they're beating up these. What about these men ain't even done anything? They could be battering up anyone. You just don't even know. And he is with his security guard, acting all tough and hard. Without security, he would be nothing. And he's just beating up these men. And then he streams it. The next thing, he deletes the stream. And I'm like, you obviously know you've done something wrong. You act like you're all like, oh, you know, I didn't do anything. Like, but you know you're doing, you know you've done something wrong because you've deleted your stream of beating up this person because you worry someone's going to clip it and give it to the police. So it's like, you know, he's in IB. I think he's in IB for when he was doing this, or somewhere in Spain. But even like, county, even in Spain, there's laws like this that you just can't go around beating up people, which is really wrong. Like, oh my god, I just don't know how people watch his content and be like happy with him just beating up these people. I don't understand. Just call the police. Call the police if you believe these people are PDF files. Just call the police. Like, why are you there battering them? I just didn't get it. So yeah, I just think his fans obviously like, you know, tell him what he wants to hear and that's it. So, you know, he gets away with all this shit. And then later on, like his mum's getting interviewed by Louis, like a few days later, I'm guessing it must be, or around the same few days. And then his mum got asked, do you agree with what you know, what he stands for and all that, or do you agree with what he does? I think something like that Louis asked her, and then she's just like, I don't agree with it, but he's my son, like, you know, just basically saying he's my son, which okay, that's fine. And then all of a sudden, like, Harrison starts going, yeah, but women are stupid, aren't they? They're dumb. And then the mum's like, not women my age, obviously I haven't met women my age, which is true. He's meeting the wrong sort of women that pretend to be a bit dumb just so they can hang out with him, or just so they can, like, you know, sleep with him or whatever. They just pretend to be dumb. He's like, it makes no sense. It's like you purposely hang out with women who are putting on this ditzy act and they say all women are stupid, but then you would never ever like go and like hang out with a woman who has a brain, who, like, you know, has, you know what I mean, like you would never you would never hang out with them women who, like, for example, who, you know, who have very good careers, who went to university. Like, he'd avoid like hanging out with those women, unless those same women put on a ditzy act too, we don't know. But yeah, it's just like it was just like, what, this guy, he's so horrible. And then Louis kind of asked him about his like charges. He said like in the UK he's had some like criminal charges, and then he gets like really like angry at Louis, like, why like, why are you asking that and all that, and you're working with Jimmy Savile, and I mean, what was it, you're working for Jimmy. I know Jimmy Savile's passed away, hasn't he? But like, he's like, you're working for Jimmy Savile and you're working with the Jews and all that. And it's only because his chat is saying it, and then he's just repeating back what his chat's saying. Like, he can't stop looking at his camera. Harrison can't. He's just so annoying. Like, I already can't stand the streamers that constantly look at their camera. Even when they talk to people, they keep looking at their camera, and it's very, very annoying. Like, fair enough, here and there you look at your chat, but some are just so rude. They just stare at their camera the whole time when they talk to people, and it's really irritating. I really can't stand when those streamers do it, and then Harrison doing it, he's just even more annoying because he's a puppet to his chat anyway, just a little robot to them. And then the funniest part is like, it's just so funny. It's like Louis purposely, I mean, whoever edited Louis' documentary purposely just had to wanted to leave this in, which I can't blame them because it was quite funny. And it's like he just like, there's this like one clip where Harrison just comes across as the biggest mummy's boy on the planet, and he's like, his mum's like sort of like, he's like, when he says about the Jew, when he's like, no mummy, I don't want the juice bar, he basically said something like that. He says about the juice bar, and then his mum's like, don't talk to me like that, I didn't raise you like that. It's because the mum doesn't want it. Mum probably feels embarrassed the way he is as well at times, so, but you know, he's made money from it, so she's like, can't exactly stop him, can she? But like, you know, I think she'll just stick up for him no matter what happens. She will just, yeah, defend her son. But yeah, oh my god, he's such a mummy's boy, and it's just so embarrassing. And then there's one guy on TikTok who does the greatest impressions ever of Harrison, and he sounds exactly like him. At times I have to double check who's who. And he just, it's just such good impressions of like, are you mugging me? Are you mugging me? Am I? Oh my god, it is brilliant. I just can't. I just think like he's kind of getting what he deserves. After his documentary's come out, everyone is taking piss out of Harrison the most on the documentary, and I won't be shocked. Like, some people are looking at him like he's the worst out of all of them, and I would say he is actually the worst out of all of them. But it is a bit of a tie for me between Myron and him, because I just don't stand for, you know, men treating women like trash like that. It's just really wrong to me. And I also don't stand for women that just let men, you know, do it. Like, of course, if you are in a difficult situation, for example, if you live in a country where like it is male dominated and you're not, your hands tied, then I completely understand. I feel sorry for those women. But like, some of these women, you can tell they have the option not to really hang out with these men, and they're still just hanging out with them and letting them just, you know, be arseholes to them, and they're just fine with it. I don't get it. The women aren't helping this like toxic masculinity. I can't say that word ever. They're not helping the cause as well. So, and I did notice like one or two of them on the show, I think Justin and Harrison, I don't think they grew up without a dad. I mean, I think they grew up without their dad. They didn't have their dad around growing up, which is sad. It sucks. You, so I think that's why they are the way they are, sadly. So, yeah, I think that's the way. I think they think acting like this, acting, you know, in this way towards women and trying to show they're tough men, will get validation of other men to like them, to like them more. So I think that's why they are the way they are, and they should have had a dad around. It's so sad. It's like sad. Of course, what can you do? Of course, parents split up, and you know, if parents aren't getting along, they should split up. I really think that, because that's not healthy. If, like, you know, two parents don't get along as well, that's not healthy for any child's upbringing. But at the same time, like, you know, if they did have a dad around, I feel like it'd be a different story. But because I do think everyone needs their mum and dad, like, in their lives, even if they're split up. At least, like, you know, the dad, you know, your dad's still around. But yeah, that's my opinions on it. And you know, some people might be like, oh, here is this total minga with her opinions on all these, you know, on all the men on the show, our favourite streamers ever and everything. But yeah, I think it's all started from Andrew Tate, and yeah, like they call it the red pill gang thing, they call it something like that. But yeah, that's my opinions on it. Sorry, it's a very long video, I know, 40 minutes. Sorry, nearly 40-minute video. I'm so sorry, I just went on. I was only going to keep it to 20 minutes. But yeah, it's just really interesting documentary. I'm glad Louis really went in, and I do want to check out more of Louis's documentaries as well. I saw this one about on Netflix recently, got put on, about something about new brain or something like that, which was really interesting to watch. And there's an aliens one I want to check out. I saw it, I recorded it on Virgin, so I do want to check out of Louis. So I definitely recommend watching Louis' documentaries. They're really interesting. He asks such good questions as well. But yeah, it was just like, yeah, this was really interesting to watch. It was like, you know, I just like, yeah, I was fuming. I was fuming for a while, but it was just interesting to see what they say. As you know, as I'm just in shock that, yeah, there's some toxic men like that still around to this day. It's just shocking to me. So yeah, I'm glad like a documentary like this was made, just to like show us that it still exists to this day. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'm so sorry I went on, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the documentary itself, and what you thought of the people on the show as well, the male streamers as well. But yeah, let me know. So, and if you think I've said anything wrong, then sorry about that. Sorry, my face just looks really fat right now. Sorry, this looks so big. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.